February. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of your programming on SportsGrid.
The outline for Koepka are fantastic. I think it's perfect. It is punitive, but it's fair. You've got to levy some sort of fine, so to speak, for defecting, and I think they've done a wonderful job of being equitable and punishing him a bit at the same time. I think Brooks ultimately wants to be playing with the best.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
New York Giants. They fired their head coach, Brian Daboll. Now, they did that during the season. Harbaugh is the favorite by a wide margin. Looking at Kalshi right now, Joe, 56% chance. 56 that he's the coach. The guy behind him is Kevin Stefanski at 25%. Is this look like it's just a Harbaugh spot? And if not, why is Harbaugh waiting until Monday? Does he want to see if something else opens up? But it looks like he's the heavy favorite and probably will get the job.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Memphis is shopping John Morant. Yeah, no kidding. They should have shopped him 2 years ago and got rid of him. The problem is, where does he go? Like, what team is going to sit there and deal with a dude who, A, has not been healthy or reliable both on the court or off the court? Like, who's trading for John Morant here, Coach?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today, Super Bowl 60. Out in San Francisco, it'll be the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots going head-to-head for a chance to win another Super Bowl. Two organizations that have had recent success, New England more than any, over the last 2 decades or so. But being here in this game, a surprise. Neither one of these teams were booked inside the top 10 of that outright Super Bowl market. The path for the Seahawks was primarily the league's best defense, or at least arguably the best defense in football. Mike Macdonald has been a force since coming over from Baltimore, and they seemingly got the quarterback right. Geno Smith was fine. Geno Smith was sought after by the Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith and the Vegas Raiders had the worst record in football. Sam Darnold won 14 games again, joining a ridiculous list of quarterbacks to win 14 games in consecutive seasons. The list is 2 people long. It's Sam Darnold and Tom Brady. I'm almost a little uncomfortable by the whole thing, but you got to give Darnold credit. And he had a pretty good regular season. I think you could pretty easily argue he actually was not as good this year in the 17 games as he was last year for the Vikings. But where Darnold was spectacular is where it mattered most. In a conference championship game against the likely league MVP in Matthew Stafford, where Darnold went strike for strike. 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and maybe most importantly, no interceptions. A 31-27 victory that put Seattle here as the favorites. But Darnold and this Seahawks team will have to go through the other MVP candidate in Drake May. Entering his sophomore season, the Pats expected to improve. With Mike Vrabel in, Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator, the acquisition of Stephon Diggs, draft picks that they were hoping to hit on high in round 1 like Will Campbell or Trevion Henderson in round number 2. But the expectations was not 14 wins. They were not expected to knock off the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. And yet here they are. And they have gone through very, very difficult defenses to get to this spot here and win that AFC. The path, though, in the postseason did have some similarities to the regular season. It wasn't the most challenging, but they made do. And what this Patriots team has done is this season is be opportunistic. And they have an opportunity here to maybe start a new era of Patriots football. The prior 2 decades defined by Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Now this combination of Drake May and Mike Vrabel may just run roughshod over the league for a decade. It's easier said than done, but my goodness, a sophomore quarterback and Braves' first year in New England, it feels quite threatening. It is going to be so fun to break this game down all week long, and that is what we will be doing here on SportsGrid. And I won't be doing it alone. With the help of my man, Joe Lisi. Joe, it is great that you and I will get to do this week. We will be checking in with a number of people throughout the week who are out there live in San Francisco, getting their thoughts around this matchup between the Pats and the Seahawks.
Yeah, you laid out a great groundwork. I almost needed an arrow bet. I was almost out there. But, I mean, this is it. Super Bowl 60 rematch.
Yeah.
2 quarterbacks that can make a name for themselves. You mentioned Drake May and Sam Darnold. And 2 defenses that are playing at an elite level right now. Whichever defense obviously wins the turnover battle, shuts down the run, I think ultimately will win this matchup. We know about how dominant Seattle has been, 28 straight games without a 100-yard rusher.
Wow.
The 2 weeks of preparation, I believe, needs to benefit Drake May and, more importantly, this offensive staff. I know McDaniels has been in this spot, but I don't think they can go cookie cutter in this matchup. And again, styles make fights. The teams that typically break tendency ultimately win these games, Kev.
I think it would be smart to just start with the numbers that we have now. It's a 4.5-point number. It started 3.5 and quickly zoomed up to 5. We have seen a shop or two go back to that 5, but we've pretty much been sitting 4.5 for a week on this number. You're under the impression that this is likelier to get underneath this 4 than perhaps up to a 5.5, 6 number maybe.
Yes, I do. And again, I think the more that you break it down from the odds perspective and from the football aspect. Mm-hmm. And we talk about, all right, New England's not doing it explosively, offensively. It's been their defense. They've been more methodical, more ball control. They've been winning the turnover battle, and somehow, some way, they've been grinding out victories, right? The one game that was the outlier was the 5-interception performance or 5-turnover performance by Houston, where they put them into short fields and obviously had an opportunity to score. But the 9-0 on a neutral field or on the road this year, I think can't go unnoticed. I just think that when you break it down and the more that we inch closer to kickoff, people and gamblers that are sharp are going to be taking the points and maybe banging the under a little bit. If you like New England, I think the perception is you take the points and you hope for under the 45.5. I think if you're taking the points with New England, I actually think they have to push a little bit of tempo and be the team to dictate how this game is played, because if they fall from behind, I think that'll be a huge benefit to Seattle's secondary and, more importantly, front seven.
So what is so interesting with this side is, and we'll talk trends this week. I want to be very careful with how we bring them up, because you can usually shape any trend to get where you want to go, right? But in recent years, right, underdogs have been profitable in the Super Bowl. They win outright. But what we have also not seen much are big numbers. And look, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but you have to adjust for the stage, okay? In the NFL, 7 is a big number, right, in a regular season. In college, this is going to be a great football game, right? The national championship, Miami, Indiana. In college, a big number is like 35. My point is this. I think this is a big number for a Super Bowl. This is what we have in – people tell me all the time, hey, you should be grateful for how the Super Bowl are. You can back in the 90s.
Right.
These
they
things
were terrible.
Were awful.
Yeah.
We always knew the NFC was going to win. They always did. Dallas or San Fran just traded off, went. Like, this is different. But this is where we are now. And in recent Super Bowl history, we're used to just getting pick 1.5-point numbers, right? I've tried to go back through the numbers, and it's kind of like hit or miss on. They say the Rams-Bengals game in some spots were 4.5. I swear, as someone who covered that Super Bowl, I think that line was 3.5, 3 more so than 4.5. But nevertheless, I would argue, and I'm wondering if you disagree, which is fine. I think 4.5 is a big number for a Super Bowl in 2026.
It's obviously more than a field goal, but it's still a key number, the 4. Whenever you get that 24-20, we're talking about a push or a win, depending upon if it gets down to 3.5 or not. So, obviously, I think if you're taking the dog, now's the opportunity. I don't personally believe we're going to creep back up. I think we're only going to go down. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I'll admit that, but I just think based off of perception and based off of just what we've seen, the reason why we saw it open at 3.5, right, is that's where the books established it. But we jumped up to 5 because of how explosive Sam Darnold in Seattle was, and how inept New England was with and going up against a backup quarterback. And so I think when you just take that into account, the perception is, well, Seattle has a much better quarterback heading into this matchup because of how Sam Darnold has looked, as opposed to Drake May, which has been maybe turnover prone. He's been making more plays on the ground than with his arm. And I think if you just play that out cookie cutter, that's why you see 4.5, 5. But I think the more that you dive in deeper, and knowing that McDaniels has been here and Vrabel has won 3 Super Bowls, the game plan has to be to really expose Seattle from a defensive weakness. And I hope that's the way it plays out.
It is going to be, again, a lot of fun to break this game down in its entirety. And I think you are well set with the both of us. But we won't be alone. And we're going to take a trip out to San Francisco after the break right here on SportsGrid.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. There's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Hey, daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh, and it is Joe Lisi. It is Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks. I keep, for some reason, wanting to say Seahawks and 49ers just because the game is in San Francisco, but obviously it is the Seahawks and Patriots. This game being out in San Francisco is, and we're throughout the week, we're going to be joined by people who are out in San Francisco. We're hoping to talk to Jake Aspin momentarily here on the show, who was out there covering it. And he's got a really unique perspective, I think, on just kind of the matchup and especially the Seattle Sam Darnold bit of it all. But this game being in San Francisco, Joe, my take on that is it is actually a sneaky, not advantage. It is hidden value in New England getting to go play in a offensive-friendly atmosphere after an AFC postseason that was filled with 25-degree and below weather.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think for the offense, right, and you look in New England, it's got to be a huge benefit. Playing in, like you said, when it snowed against Houston, the second half against Denver was absolutely atrocious weather, and you couldn't move. So there is no reason why Drake May shouldn't be able to perform at an elite level. That being said, though, again, it comes down to the way they've been winning games in the playoffs and what they're going to be up against in this matchup. And again, that's why I say you have to break tendency, and you can't just go cookie cutter looking to run Ramondre Stevenson on first and second down and then hope that you're in manageable third down situations against a team that you know hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher. And I think when you look at the game against L.A., they mixed up the run, but it was misdirection. It was off tackle. And I keep going back to this, but again, you know, as the week progresses and we get more and more info, I do want to know about Travion Henderson. I do, but Kev, I do want to know, was he hurt? Why did he only get 3 carries? Because, again, he was an intricate part of that offense. He is the home run hitter. Yeah. He's had 5 runs with over 50 yards or more. And we talk about success and styles of backs that could potentially exploit Seattle's defense, and he's that type of player. If you're telling me right now the 4.5's cooked in with just Ramondre Stevenson getting 22 to 25 carries, I'll take Seattle. Because that is not going to work against this front seven. If you tell me that Travion Henderson is healthy and he's a big part or a plan of this game, then obviously I change my assessment because I think he needs to be utilized much more than he was against Denver.
So, and we'll talk a bit about, you know, Travion or Ramondre, but I'm fine to talk about it now. Here's the problem with the Travion Henderson stuff, Joe.
Go ahead.
Ramondre Stevenson has been significantly better than him for over a month.
Okay.
And that wasn't supposed to be true, right? And what I mean is, with a guy like Travion, eventually during a season, they will just kind of gradually take over a backfield because they are the better, more talented player. And Ramondre got injured, and it cleared the way for Travion to take over the backfield. And that is exactly what happened. And Ramondre, in returning, was not getting anywhere near the same workload as Henderson, but was jarringly efficient in that workload, right? Which, again, it is what it is. But for some reason, Travion Henderson can't get going. If you look in the postseason, Joe, 24 carries for 57 yards. It's not that they haven't tried. This is not a coaching staff, in my opinion, who is being stubborn of leaning on a veteran who doesn't deserve the work, right? They have found it's like it took first example that comes to mind. It took Tampa maybe a little bit too long to go to Bucky Irving versus Rashad White, right? But because we saw how explosive Bucky was.
What about Detroit? God, you love that one. You love that comparison.
The gimmick, right? Montgomery starts every game. It's like, okay, but Gibbs is the only guy who can do anything. And this year, they started to abandon that.
Okay.
This isn't that.
I understand that.
So, I believe that eventually, I'm talking over the next 4 years, we will be very confident in who Travion Henderson, the player, is.
All right, and I agree to that. I agree, but let me go, and you like numbers. So December 14th against the Bills, the game where they jumped up 21-0, remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 14 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 10.6 yards per carry.
Yep.
The following week, he gets the concussion against the Ravens, so you can't count that. 5 for 3.
Sure.
He comes back in back-to-back games, Kev, 32 carries, 19 and 13.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the playoffs started that we decided he's a non-factor. So you tell me, he got 32 carries, 19 against the Jets for 82 yards, and then 13 against the Dolphins for 53 yards. Oh, by the way, he scores twice.
Yeah.
But then now, in 3 straight games, he's only gotten 24. So you tell me. What am I? It's not like all of a sudden at the end he didn't get carries. He was getting carries until the playoffs started.
No, so I think so. But he was getting carries even the first game, Joe. He only had 1 fewer carry than Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay. So what changed the philosophy?
I think I can give you that answer.
Go ahead.
Ramondre Stevenson, I'm going to include the playoffs, which drags the numbers down a little bit, is averaging 6 yards a rush and over 10 yards a reception.
I understand the numbers are there.
But so this is what I'm saying. It's not just that Trevion doesn't look that good.
Right.
It's that Ramondre Stevenson has looked like one of the best running backs in football for a month.
I get it, but we also see I get it, but he's still averaging. If you break down Trevion Henderson in the regular season, he averaged 5.1 yards per carry.
Absolutely.
So it's not like we're talking about Stevenson's averaging 6 yards per carry and Henderson's averaging 2.7. They were both a part of the offense, and now all of a sudden, since the playoffs started, he's a non-factor. My theory is, okay, I believe something is obviously wrong that they're not telling us, or you can't tell me that he's not a part of even third downs.
So it doesn't make sense.
Correct.
But what I mean is, in the receiving game is where you would think, okay.
Right, yeah.
Rodgers Stevenson has been the best receiving back in football.
I know, he had 7.
It's crazy. Joe,
I know.
Joe, it's crazy. I agree with you. It mostly doesn't make sense. It's what's been going on.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm very confident about this. Ramondre Stevenson, whatever his number is, he's not getting there in the Super Bowl. That is one of my best bets. He's not getting there.
Great. All right. Well, yeah. This is going to be something, huh? We'll be right back. Pro Football Today.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed. Right? You're like, oh, my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now at 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow. Right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again. So I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here on Pro Football Today, Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi, we take our first trip out to San Francisco, where we are joined by Jake Assman, host of The Jake Assman Show, does an incredible job covering the New York Jets, and will be out there all week in San Francisco covering the Super Bowl, where, Jake, I'll let you tell it. Weird game for Jets fans. Maybe not. Maybe this is kind of straightforward. The Sam Darnold of it all. Give me an idea of how you feel watching Sam go on this run and playing in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think every Jet fan is pretty much universally aligned in rooting for Sam Darnold on Sunday. I mean, look, it's the New England Patriots. It's always anyone but New England if you're a Jet fan. And look, despite Sam obviously not working out with the Jets and he didn't play well, I think we look back on his time and we realize the organization failed Sam Darnold more than Sam Darnold failed the New York Jets. His two head coaches were Todd Bowles and Adam Gase. They never surrounded him with an offensive line. They never gave him proper weapons. I mean, they let his best wide receiver, Robbie Anderson, walk in free agency before his final year. And Robbie Anderson is a good player at that time, but he was not an elite number one wide receiver, and that was Sam's best option. So I think I speak for most Jet fans that we're really happy for Sam. He's had success. People just act like he just left the Jets and then became this. He needed to go to Carolina. It didn't work out there. He needed to go to, obviously, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners and learn from him as a backup for a year behind Purdy. And then he goes to Minnesota, and he has this unbelievable year. And people were still questioning him after that final game where they lost in the playoffs. So to see his rise, see him play like the player many of us Jet fans were hoping he'd do for us, it's a little bittersweet, but I think Jet fans are universally aligned in rooting for him.
The question I have, Jake, is what lesson we try and learn from this all, because now any quarterback who struggles will just go, what about Sam Darnold, right? In the same way they were kind of doing with Baker, but this will now take it another level. Do you feel, hey, if we had the right pieces, Darnold could have hit the ground running night one, or Darnold was always going to be a project and this was his timeline, he had to leave in order to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it could have worked with the Jets if they had the right infrastructure for him. I think the lesson is it's not just the quarterback. You need the right head coach. You need the right offensive line. You need the right playmakers. It's all together. There's very few guys who just come into the league and are able to have instant success at that position. And even some of the guys that have had success, right? Like a C.J. Stroud, for example, was the league figured him out now the last couple of years where he hasn't been the same player he was as a rookie. So success is not always lateral. And I think in the case of Sam, he was failed by the organization more than the other way around. And hopefully, the Jets learn from that experience and they put their next quarterback that they invest a top pick in round one in a much better spot. I can't say, the Jets are currently set up for that given their coaching situation. But again, I think a lot of teams, not even just the Jets, can learn from what Sam Darnold has done these last 2 years in Minnesota and now in Seattle.
Jake, what do you see from Darnold's performance? What improvements has he made from the time that he's with the Jets to what we saw last year with Minnesota and now Seattle?
I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think Sam, at the end of his time with the Jets, he was almost a broken player. He was gun-shy. He was afraid to make the big mistake. Because last year with the Jets, he threw 9 touchdowns and just 11 interceptions, right? I mean, he wasn't playing like a guy who was loose and confident, taking chances downfield. He still turns the ball over at times. That's kind of the way he plays. He's more of a gunslinger type of player. But I think he's more decisive with the ball. I think he's really understood how to read a defense, how to process better. He just looks like a guy that is playing confidently. And at times with the Jets, you saw it. And then that last year, I think, really broke him. But he's been a completely different player these last few seasons.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. Can I ask you this, though, because I have noticed this, obviously, here local. Like, Jets fans, they never really gave up on Sam. And I never really got it, to be honest, Jake. I didn't. People always wanted to root from him. And you mentioned, like, even in Minnesota, 14 wins, 30-plus touchdowns, I still was like, no way. What, though, why did Jets fans not give up on this guy?
Well, I think you saw the talent, right? I mean, there were moments where Sam Darnold looked like he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. His last 4 games, his rookie year, he led the NFL in passer rating. He had a great game against prime Aaron Rodgers where the two of them were duking it out when Rodgers was still with the Packers, of course, at that point. I mean, there were moments his rookie year where you saw it. So I think that was a big reason. And after his rookie year, they go from Todd Bowles to Adam Gase, who none of us wanted as Jet fans. We watched him fail in Miami, and he comes to the Jets. They start 1-7. Like, we all knew it was the wrong hire from the beginning. So I think Jet fans always had, a loyalty to Sam because we felt like he was set up to fail, and that's the biggest reason why I think Jet fans have stuck by him. And a big thing since he's left the Jets, too, he's never bashed them since he's left. He's had every opportunity to take shots at them like so many other former Jets have. And he's never done that. He's always taken the high road, talked about how he had a great experience despite the lack of winning. He's just a great kid. You root for people like that.
Yeah, I actually think that part is underrated and very well said. What I want to do is take a quick break, come back, and talk to Jake about the other side of this game, because I'm sure that also makes the rooting interest from Jets fans pretty easy. So that's next right here on SportsGrid.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. There's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Pro football today on SportsGrid. We are joined by Jake Assman, who is live out in San Francisco covering Super Bowl 60 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. And Jake, this Patriots team has been divisive for a different reason. We were kind of reminded of why they used to be divisive this past week with Bill Belichick not getting in to the Hall of Fame, maybe tied to some of the different scandals and whatever it might be. This team is divisive because their schedule, really, and their path and playing a backup quarterback in an AFC championship game. My, 2-sentence synopsis is the schedule and path have been very easy. I still think they are a very talented football team who's capable of winning this Super Bowl. How do you view the New England Patriots?
I think you nailed it. I think they are a very good team. I think they are not a great team. Their record would tell you they're a great team, and I just don't see that. I mean, their schedule, just take a look at the top 10 in the NFL draft. That's been their schedule. Take a look at their path to the Super Bowl. Oh, but Jake, they played some really great defenses, sure, but it's an offensive league, and look at the quarterbacks they went through. An injured Justin Herbert with their O-line being in shambles. C.J. Stroud is still turning the ball over the last time I checked. I mean, that was horrific, and they played a backup quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, who basically handed them a walk-in touchdown. And I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team. And I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl. So I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case. I think New England's good, but they're not great. And I think Seattle might be, far better just overall roster-wise.
Jake, I want to ask about how New England's won on the road. They're the 9-0. I mean, it's a record, and the way they've just been able to find ways to pull out games, isn't that eerily similar to Bill Belichick and the Patriots of old? Not maybe many household names, but they are disciplined. They rarely lose the turnover battle, and that ultimately wins playoff games.
Yeah, it's impressive. Again, I think when you look at New England, they are incredibly well coached. They don't beat themselves. They have a game plan that is specific for the opponent. I think Vrabel is one of the best coaches in the league, and I think the well-coached teams typically win on the road. So the fact that they're undefeated on the road is really impressive. They do everything well when they need to, and that helps you. They don't turn it over. They're able to run the ball. They're elite on special teams. They don't beat themselves. And a lot of times, you lose games more than like you go out there and actually like win games. Like the other team just makes more mistakes essentially. And I think New England's capitalized on that, especially on the road, and that's a testament to their coaching. I just think when you talk about a Super Bowl now, I mean, is it on the road, I guess, technically, but it's also on the road for Seattle. It's a neutral site game. I don't know how that factors in the handicap of the evaluation here.
So, Jake, I do want to talk a little Jets because it's an interesting spot, right? I thought it was a little sad that, and you guys know the team, so you were probably right too, that Jets fans felt they needed to root Dante Moore going back to college to stop the team from drafting him, because that was like the only thing that could actually stop them from making that decision. Though we still see some mock drafts go, all right, they'll just take Ty Simpson at 16. It's obviously an important offseason. What do you think this team will be focusing in on, though, especially as we get closer to the NFL draft?
Well, they need to get an offensive coordinator first because the Jets waited till January 27th, even though their season ended the first week of the month, to fire Tanner Engstrand. I mean, they got to get that situated, whether it be Frank Reich, or Greg Roman, or Darrell Bevel. Basically, three guys who are probably way past their prime as play callers are the options for the Jets at this rate. That's got to be the first thing they get situated. And then they got to plan what their plan is at quarterback. I mean, are they going to try and sign a guy like Kirk Cousins or make a run at Kyler Murray if he's available? Are they going to try and spend big money on a guy maybe with an upside in Malik Willis? You go down the line, I think they probably got to add at least two veterans. And then at some point, they are going to draft a quarterback. It's just a matter of, do they do it at pick 16? Is it Ty Simpson in that spot? Do they use one of their 2 second-round picks on someone that was down in Mobile last week at the Senior Bowl? The name Garrett Nussmeier, I think, is going to be a commonly mocked pick to the Jets with one of their 2 seconds. I think that's kind of what you're looking at. Everything they do is centered around what their plan is at quarterback, because it's not going to be Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, or Brady Cook in a year where Aaron Glenn needs to win games if he's going to save his job and actually get to a third season.
So that is one of the most fascinating pieces of this Jets setup here, and it is where I do think, Jake, organizations run into issues, because Aaron Glenn needing to win games to keep his job absolutely makes sense. But the Jets also being aggressive in a middling quarterback doesn't make sense. It's why you guys didn't want Dante Moore. So, I don't know, it almost feels like I don't mean to be doom and gloom. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it already feels like they're stuck. Where it's like, hey, the goal is to win games. You win 6 or 7. You don't know if you like Aaron Glenn. You don't know if you like the quarterback, and we're just starting all over again then next year.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would not allow this regime to use a premium pick on a quarterback. The earliest I'd let them, if this was me, use a pick on a quarterback would be pick 33, which is the first pick of round 2 that the Jets own. I just don't think it makes sense. I mean, the option is what, Ty Simpson? Ty Simpson, who started 15 career games at Alabama and ended the year not playing all that well and was injured. Like, that's the guy. I mean, the track record of QBs with under 20 starts going in round 1 over the last 15 years is abysmal. I wouldn't make that swing if I'm the Jets. You have the 3 first-rounders in 2027. If you're not going to be very good, you're in position to get your guy next year and match up that quarterback, whether it be Arch Manning or Julian Sayin or whoever, with a new head coach. So that's how I'm looking at it. I know Glenn is going to try and win games to save his job, but he should be focused on building the team, making the roster better, and finding a way to prove you could coach by coaching up the team with a Kirk Cousins or Kyler Murray type as your quarterback. I wouldn't make the major investment in quarterback in round 1 this year. I just don't think the options for the Jets outside of Mendoza, who we know is going number 1, I don't think it makes any sense for them.
No, I agree. And to your point about Aaron Glenn, the defensive side of the ball still has weaknesses, right? That's been a cause of concern. So if Aaron Glenn, let's say, limps to an under 500 record, do they make a potential push maybe for a coach like Gruden that was mentioned, potentially for an OC job?
Yeah, I think when you look at their options, I just don't know if it's that attractive of a job, right? I mean, considering that the head coach is a lame duck potentially, like, why would John Gruden take the job as a play caller, right? I just think at this point, Aaron Glenn fired 9 of his 21 assistants after year one, another assistant left, so that's 10 of 21. I mean, who's taking a job other than to get a paycheck to work for a head coach where if they get off to a 1-5 start, he's this year's Brian Callahan all over again, getting fired with a 4-19 overall record. The Jets' schedule next year is brutal. They play the AFC West and the NFC North, in addition to having to deal with Drake May twice and Josh Allen twice. It is a bleak setup for them. It's why I don't think it's an attractive job. I think they're basically at this point, because they stuck with Glenn, which I felt was a huge mistake, better off just bottoming out another year, and you got the 3-1s to get your quarterback, and the job's attractive for a Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott, maybe KOC if it doesn't go well in Minnesota, Shane Steichen, or whoever the top coaches are. There's probably not going to be 10 openings next year, right? Maybe there's 5 or 6. The Jets, in theory, would be one of the more attractive ones.
So, Jake, last one, and then we'll get you out of here, and we really appreciate it. Again, the Jake Aspin Show, fantastic job covering all things Jets, but he's going to have you Super Bowl coverage throughout the week. Jake, just with that second overall pick, is there a guy that you or the Jets faithful are kind of zeroing in on?
I think it's wide open right now. It feels like there's maybe 3 defensive players that are in the discussion at 2. Ruben Bain from Miami. I think he's the guy that we all watched in the national title game. Ball out and make so many plays. I think David Bailey from Texas Tech is another name to watch. He might be just the best pure pass rusher if he reaches his ceiling as a star. And then I think the other name is Arvell Reese, who's been commonly mocked to the Jets out of Ohio State. He's maybe more of a hybrid linebacker and can play on the edge. I think he's an edge. I think if he adds 10 pounds, you line him up at the edge spot and let him do his thing. I think it's those 3 right now. And in an ideal world, I think they try and trade back and get more picks, but it's tough because I don't know who's coming up for any of these players.
Yeah, I don't know either, but there is talent. Someone's like, oh, Caleb Downs is incredible. Can't draft him at 2. Jeremiah Love is incredible. Can't draft him at 2. It's a very weird spot they're in. We'll see how it all pans out. Jake, again, we appreciate it so much. Great stuff from Jake Aspin out there in San Francisco for Super Bowl 60. Jake, best of luck throughout the week.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Enjoy the game Sunday.
All right, great stuff. As always, Joe and I will talk a little bit about your total, a number that has been falling, as Joe told us. Next.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, back with you right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi. So we talked a little bit about the side moving, a.k.a. Lisi promised us Ramondre Stevenson. It was going to have a stinker. So we'll see where the total takes us.
Yeah, well, why? You don't like that?
It's not that.
What is it?
It's not that.
God.
It's that I think, and this is why I love you, I think the truth always comes out. And I think that
You make it sound like I
No, what I think is when I ask you, I can ask you about the weather, and I'll find out what you want for dinner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, you're going to get to what you want to get to.
Right.
So we'll see what you want to get to.
I just go straight to the point. I'm a bull in the china shop.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna skirt around it. Okay, we're gonna go right.
Yeah.
A gap. Sure, that's it.
Okay, bull rush. Go again.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. This total.
Yes.
You said it's going to drop. It has. 45.5. We saw 46.5, I think, so far as the peak. I know.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone who told me it opened 47.
It
I'll
might
take
have.
their word
I mean,
for it,
yeah.
But I guess, have you been surprised by the number?
No.
In my opinion, I have found this to be. I know this is like if people don't like this. I think it's a very good number because I have no feel for this total. I have no feel.
It's understandable, okay, but I still, again, when you look at perception,
Yep.
and you look at how New England's won games, and 2 of the 3 went significantly under the total, and you think about how dominant Seattle's defense has been, okay, and the perception is, okay, they got exposed to a degree in the secondary by elite wide receiver talent. Right? Yeah. Puka, Devontae, and all those tight ends for L.A., and 2 backs that could catch out of the backfield in Kyron and Blake. And you say, okay, well, New England's personnel doesn't match up like that. See what I'm saying? So I think that's why you're seeing the 4.5s. And I think that's why you're seeing now the market come down on the total. I thought the total when it opened in this number was high. I think I would have made it maybe 44.5.
So
to open.
I think why I am struggling with the total so much is I think it's such a middling number, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right? In that when you get a Rams game, it's going to be a high total.
48.5, 49.
When you get a Texans game, it's going to be really low. Right? Cowboys, I know they're not in the, they weren't a playoff, but there are teams where you know these are 2 teams where their opponent maybe sometimes dictates the total more. But I also think both of these teams are very capable of playing. I think it is on the board that this is an awful 17-13 game.
And then
I think it is on the board that this is a delight of a 35-34 game. I really do.
So you cover both angles. That's good. You painted a beautiful picture.
No, what I'm not going to victory lap. I told you I didn't know what to do with the total take. I promise you that. I'll tell you that. I won't be first. Hey, I told you. Could be 30, could be 65, could be in between. Huh?
I feel good that the total is live. Is for the over.
So so go ahead.
No,
select from that menu. You like that menu? I pulled up a couple of options for you. 59.5 plus 470.
It's like having lamb chops for an appetizer. I like that.
Yeah,
Cooked medium.
I figured we'd get ahead of it and just print out your card.
75.5.
That's the highest it goes up to. That's the highest it goes up to.
Why'd they stop
I knew
there?
it.
40-35. Why'd they stop there? I mean, I'm just saying.
You're the best.
I probably would take it the 3-1 over 55.5.
That's the
with some props.
3-1. Oh, with a couple of dance partners. Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I'm playing Travion. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Gosh almighty.
I'm going to come right. Butte.
Like I said.
Butte. This A.J. Barner has a little life.
All week.
Just saying.
Got all week.
Well, listen, you think the world is tuning in right on this 8 minutes? They're going to be tuning in all week.
No, I get
There'll be 1 trillion views by the time the weekend.
It probably will be, pal. So just keep your head on straight, and maybe you'll be all right. Look, this game. Okay,
yeah.
So I said, hey, I could see it being, right. So awesome take by me. I said I could see it being high scoring.
Clip it.
Do you think it could be low scoring?
Yes, of course. Again. Here's the thing, and I told you this.
So you're covering your bases as well.
I'm not covering it. You're asking me, can it be? Yes, it can be. Any game could be low scoring and high scoring. Here's the thing. if New England has success on the ground, okay, with Stevenson, it'll be an under. But I don't think they're going to – I don't think – if you're asking me to break this game down, it's got to be Drake May early on first and second down throwing the football.
Okay.
On running downs. If I'm Josh McDaniels and I'm the game planner in this matchup and we're scripting the first 15 to 20 plays, I get the ball first. I am not running Ramondre Stevenson to test the line of scrimmage. I'm not doing that. Because I know right now that just from the statistics analytics, that's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Can I run for 100 yards? Yeah, it's possible. But most likely I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah.
So, okay, in order to run, I have to be more aggressive. I have to throw on running downs. I need my quarterback. And not only that, it's what I told you earlier when we talked about it on Sunday, is that I want my quarterback that has not really performed at a consistent elite level, right? He's done a much better job breaking contain with his legs than he has, sitting in the pocket and going through the reads and progressions. I want to make sure that he's dialed in. I want to make sure that I can count on him later in the game.
Yeah.
Where if I need to make a play in the passing attack, he's already thrown it 20 times.
Right.
I don't want to, we're going to play it close to the vest and then hope that he could pull it out if we're trailing. I don't want that game plan. I want a game plan where I'm the aggressor. I'm going to take the game to Seattle, and then we're going to look to open it up early, run the football, and then maybe sit on a lead. I don't think this team is built to play from behind the way they've been playing right now. And I'm talking about New England.
I know. And what I think, so I think that you've kind of laid that ground floor very well. Then what I'm very curious about is what you think, because this is what I know you like to do, and I think you do it very well, about how you think a team should approach a game, right?
Yep.
You believe that the Patriots should be looking to lean on Drake May early and often, and by the way, I agree. I am very curious then what you think Seattle's thought process should be in this spot, so that is where we will go next right here on Pro Football Today.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh, my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so now we dive into the other side of the coin. I think this is good. I think I want to learn the full scope of what you want from this game.
Sure.
I think this is a great way. It's a feeling. This is, two teams like enter a game, they want to feel one another out. I need to really get a grasp of what you're looking at here in this game, okay? New England. aggressive, throw it.
Yeah.
Henderson, run it. Right? That's where we are.
No,
Okay.
later in the game.
New England, throw it a bunch, but also please Henderson hit some numbers.
Sure, there
Great,
you
got it. Okay. Talk to me on Seattle.
Defensively, offensively. I think they have the benefit of being a little bit more balanced. I just do. And I think that when you look at the physicality of the offensive line, if we're looking at rushing attacks, I feel more confident in Kenneth Walker and the physicality of Seattle's rushing attack than I do New England. So I think they could attack it the way they did the LA Rams. I mean, Kenneth Walker had basically 62, 65 yards for the game.
Yeah.
50 came in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shut down. They didn't even go to the run in the second half. It was all JSN and Sam Darnold. So again, I think Seattle might take more of a counterpuncher's approach offensively. Let's see if we can run it. Let's see if we have a little, an edge up physicality-wise with the offensive line, and we can work off a play action with Darnold if we have success in the rushing attack. I don't believe that I think Seattle's going to play it that way. And I don't think McDonald and I don't think Kubiak feel, hey, if we're down the way we were against the Rams, we can't come back against New England. I think on the flip side, I am very concerned if you're a New England backer that they have to be able to dictate this tempo. If they're down 10-3, 13-3, I'm sorry. I think they could be at a huge disadvantage. Then in that type of scenario, you might get the under and get blown out.
So we'll talk some alt spreads and things like that. No, hold on. So this is why I like New England so much in this game. There is not a script that scares me. Not one. Because
I don't think it's I'm just talking the football aspect. Scare me.
No. I want to just let me make my case. So I agree with you that New England should come out and be looking to throw the football. Seattle graded out as the best run defense in the league by EPA. A little bit more vulnerable through the air. Again, the Patriots graded out as an elite pass attack with an incredibly season from Drake May. We saw Stafford move the ball on this team multiple times this season, right? Yeah. So I should think that Drake May should be able to do the same. Why I'm comfortable in a game script is I think the only way in which Seattle is letting Darnold rip it, spin it, hey, whatever you want to do, is because the Patriots are pushing them. So I'm already in the game. Right. Otherwise, I think it's close to the vest. Run it. JSN screen. Like, I don't, you can famous last words. That's fine. I don't think it's going to be 17-0 Seattle. I don't see that on the board. I don't think that's who they are. I think it's only 17-0 if Drake May's turning the football over a ton. I'm not expecting that in this game. Because I don't think. Do you think that Seattle is going to come out letting Darnold try and throw for 200 in the first half?
I don't know about 200, but I think they're
that's what he did in the first half against the
I
Rams.
know that. And JSN had 115 and a touchdown.
Sure
he had 9 receptions.
Not 9,
8, something like that. But
6, 7.
Yeah, 6, 7. No, I don't think 30 times, but I think he could throw for 120, 130 yards in the first half. I think that's very doable in the type of balance that they have. I'll put it this way. It's imperative for Drake May to get to that number, 140, 150.
I guess where...
Kev,
you trust the Seattle offense in a way that I don't.
Here's what I trust.
If I tell you New England scores 7 points in the first half, do you think they're in a bad spot?
Yeah.
I'm not sure they are.
Okay.
Might be 10-7.
I don't know about that.
You have Seattle getting to 14, 17, 20 in the first half?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think if they win this game, they got to get there. Again, I just don't. I do not see the way they have struggled on third down. They were 6 of 18 on third downs
against Denver.
Yeah.
They punted. They were basically punting on third down in that game. This is one of my strongest beliefs. Is New England pulled back the reins over aggressively in each one of their first 3 playoff games.
They were 4 of 11
because they knew their opponent was dead to rights.
Okay.
And I don't think that'll be the case here in Seattle.
I just think that they're dealing with the quarterback and a wide receiver that have it going on.
Sure.
And you play that style, hoping that, hey, we got everything in front of us, you're going to get blown out.
It's going to be really fun. I'll tell you what, we're going to talk to our guy Tom Vecchio after the break. Get his thoughts next.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Football today. How about that? You like that?
It's great.
Great. There he is, Joe Lisi, Kevin Walsh, joined now by one of our guys here on SportsGrid, Tom Vecchio. Tom, always great to talk to you, my friend. Super Bowl week is on. Seahawks, Patriots, how you feeling?
We've gotten a trickle of information over the past few days, seeing Drake May on the injury report. Don't really think that's too big of a deal at this point. It was last week. If he's on the injury report come Thursday or Friday, then I'll have a different take about things. Seeing that there was an earthquake, earlier in the week, not something that I'm super worried about either. But I'm excited for the game. I have a final score prediction if you want to get to that, but I'm ready to roll.
I'll tell you what, we'll do the final score prediction. We'll get you out of here. Hold on a second. Please, hold on. The earthquake. I like your earthquake analysis a little bit more. Why are you not worried about it? How would it impact the game? Under? Over?
No worries about it. Game's going to be normal. We're going to have a great one this year, unlike last year. I know it was great for you last year, but it was not great from a viewing perspective.
Game was a delight of a watch, first of all. I don't remember an earthquake during last year's game. But I'm just curious. If there was an earthquake, how would that impact your capping of the game?
Lower scoring because the ground wouldn't be stable enough to run.
I would tend to think Lisi and Earthquake would play to the over. Might lose a couple defensive guys, like in The Dark Knight or Batman Begins, whichever one it was with Bane.
Go deep.
Right.
You'd go deep. Great. Earthquake or not, Lisi would throw a 50-yard bomb. Thanks. Calls the same script, earthquake or not. What about in a tornado? Same script?
Nah.
You'd run it?
Heavy formation.
Play action. They wouldn't see it coming. Speaking of heavy formation, I know, Tom, there's a running back prop or two that you've already circled up here for Super Bowl 60. Care to let us in?
Yeah, let's get to George Halani for the Seahawks. I like him over 7.5 receiving yards. I tweeted that out last week. The number's on the move a little bit. It's at 10, 11 and a half at some spots. So, I would say buyer beware at that point. But he does play a good role in the role that he has, which is limited, albeit like it's a limited role. He's not going to be out there for a high amount of snaps or touches overall, but they like Zach Charbonnet specifically because of the pass blocking role that he played a little bit better than Ken Walker. And they're going to have to spell Ken Walker at times. And I do expect Walker to be involved in the passing game, but you give me a two catches potentially from George Kalani, I think he goes over that number.
So, Joe, is Kalani a guy that, because he was involved against the Rams, right? But the game was also a little off the rails. I know you don't mind a lower running back, short numbers. Is he a guy that you're looking at all?
He has to be because, again, I know Kenneth Walker took a majority of the carries and got a majority of the receiving yards. But throughout the regular season, they have split. Charbonnet was a better goal line back earlier in the year, and then they went to Walker when Charbonnet went down. But to spell Ken Walker, he's going to be the workhorse, but Kalani has to get carries. He has to be also utilized in the screen game and the short to intermediate passing game on third down. So it's not a bad look, and especially he's the type of playmaker. He made yards after contact as well against the Rams.
So I'm curious, Tom, with Kalani. I know the numbers are incredibly light. Is there, I guess, and I don't mean, look, it's the Super Bowl, so we overanalyze everything, okay? What would worry you about the bet?
Well, what would worry me is that he gets his 2 targets and he just doesn't come through. And it's just, they just continue to lean on Ken Walker because, again, at the end of the day, you got to get the ball to your best players, right? So, I expect New England to do their utmost to try and mitigate, JSN and, remove him from the game as much as they can and do the same for Ken Walker. So that's where other players are going to have to step up. That's where Barner or Kupp or Rashid Shaheed or Kalani are going to have to come in and play. But he's not going to have a ton of touches. He's not going to have a whole lot of bites at the apple. He may only have 2 targets. And that would be my worry. He doesn't have enough chances.
Tom, I want to ask you about New England's backfield. What is your take about the breakdown? Stevenson getting 75 to 80% of the carries last week. And what is your view for New England's backfield in this matchup?
I think they should get Henderson more involved. I think he's a more explosive player. We've seen big runs from him and big, run after the catch throughout the season. The issue is that Henderson doesn't have enough snaps for me to be super comfortable in taking a lot of his props. I have interest in some of his props. When it comes to Stevenson, though, he was not good against the Broncos. Under 3 yards per carry is just not good. Just because he had, 24 carries? Just because they give him the ball, it doesn't mean a whole lot. He cashed that prop, but he's just not good. So when it comes to Henderson, I actually think if the Pats are trailing and or in a neutral game script, that actually will benefit Henderson. If they're leading, they're just going to give the ball to Stevenson to grind away yards, no matter how ugly it is.
No, I agree with that, and we'll see. Is there any concern? Are we aware? Because I've looked. Is Henderson hurt in any capacity? Have you read anything? Have you seen anything about being injured?
No, I know he's dealt with injuries as every player has at this point, but I haven't seen something specific saying that he's going to be in for a limited role. If he's out there, he should be playing at minimum, I think, 30% of the snaps.
So, Tom, the bet I know that you also have in is, because I'm curious if there's anything you added, but I know there's 2 that you've placed, so I want to start there, is a Seattle receiver and kind of maybe a 2-for-1 special, if you will.
Right, that would be Rashid Shaheed to go over 21.5 total receiving yards and then go over 14.5 for his longest reception. And to your point, this is the 2-for-1. This is a double dip that he can get this done on one catch. And throughout the season, he had an 11.4 ADOT, which is average depth of target. He is their deep downfield guy. And we saw it in the opening drive against the Rams, that one catch for 51 yards. That was the only catch he had the entire game. But he's their downfield guy. So I'm thinking Seattle needs to show that they're willing to press that button to go downfield. Because if they're willing to do that, then they can't dedicate so much coverage to JSN. And that will actually free up JSN. That will free up Barner underneath. That will free up everyone else. But they have to be willing to show that they're going to go downfield to Rashid Shaheed. So he may only have 4, maybe 5 targets, but they're all going to be deep shots. And he can get this done in one catch. Both props in one catch.
So you and I talked a bit about Shaheed last week. And he has had some very underwhelming numbers, I think. Shaheed is one of these guys that is now, like, his impact per touch numbers are off the charts, right? But the touches are just not plentiful. But the number that is sticking with me all of a sudden is in this postseason, he has 1 catch on 5 targets. I tend to wonder if in a Super Bowl, is Rashid Shaheed someone that they manufacture and say, we will not leave this game without 4 Rashid Shaheed targets? Because, Tom, I know, like, he jumps off the page as a guy that's worth playing alts on, no?
I would say the same. Because to your point, like, he's great in the return game. We've literally seen it from the jump of games where he returns a kickoff for a touchdown. They're willing to give him running plays, whether it's jet sweeps or handoffs, whatever it's going to be, the pop passes, anything. But they want to get him involved. So, my thought would be, like, if he does go over 21, he's probably going to break that for 30 or 40. So I would be willing to play alts on him. They're not, some of my main bets, but I think that's a very rational way to go.
Would you look to Shaheed alts?
I would, and and Tom and I talked about this about a week ago. I actually think he's viable for a deep shot for an MVP. And the reason why I bring that up, 50-1 because of his ability to return kicks. So if you get that touchdown in the kick game, it's a long shot anyway. But then he doubles it up with a touchdown in the receiving game. You have a lottery ticket on a guy 50-1.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm saying his kick return ability.
There are worse 50-1 bets to make. If Seattle only scores 3 touchdowns, 1 running, a passing touchdown to Shaheed, and he returns 1, he counts for 2 of the 3 touchdowns he had in the field goal. It's 24 points. He does the majority of the lifting, theoretically.
There is one number of his that. So I have not played, during this conversation, any yardage props, like straight this guy over this number. Through this conversation, I just want to say this. I think it's a very important part of betting the Super Bowl because it's one game. We're all looking at it, but there's so many stuff you might miss something. I think it is find people you trust and talk the game out with them. And there is a Rashid Shaheed number that I am very interested. I'm going to get both Joe's and Tom's thoughts after the break right here on Pro Football Today.
You got to get on a bus, then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today, Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, Tom Vecchio joins us. Tom has been hot on this Rashid Shaheed prop for quite some time. There is a Shaheed number that I am interested in, and again, whether these guys want to. If they were like, no, I don't like the bet. Like, that would maybe be even better because, we'll talk it out. I want to get to a conclusion here if we can. One thing that I have spent quite some time capping, Tom and I have been texting about this even a little bit, is the total players to catch a pass market. Something I promise I will be beating your door down with throughout this week here.
That's the market that you're beating. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Spread it around.
I know. But I've also taken some time to cap the players to record a rush attempt market. And Seattle's number is 4.5 plus price to the over. But the idea from the books is Darnold, Halani, Walker, Shaheed. Those are the 4, and then maybe Barner gets a tush push, right? Or someone JSN get the ball. It's a swing pass and it counts, right? Maybe. Here's my thing. I am seeing Rashid Shaheed right now over under rushing yards anywhere from 2.5 to 5.5, right? You always want to get the best of the number. But Shaheed on the season averages, call it 8 yards a rush attempt. We are leaving a game in which he got 1 rush that went for no yards. That is more often an outlier. And as I said, if this is a guy you want to manufacture touches for, maybe I get 2 attempts. And when he's had 2 attempts, he's landed 20, 5, and 27. So I'll go to you first.
Sure.
Because, oh no, Rashid Shaheed rushing yards, interested or not?
No.
Great. All right, so.
I'm stuck.
Great.
No. I just, again, he was barely used at his strength, which is catching the football. And you go back to last week.
I don't think they see that as his strength.
His strength is running the football.
I think
it's Dalton Hilliard and you know what, Deuce McAllister back there.
I don't think Rashid Shaheed is described almost as like a pure receiver.
What is he?
He's a gadget player. It's just get him the ball. It's Percy Harvin.
Come on.
Am I off base?
Come on.
I would say manufacturing touches for him is not the wrong way to go. They have him in the receiving game because he's electric, right? You get the ball in his hands. He makes one guy miss 40 yards down the sideline. You get the ball into his hands. He again, with a rush attempt, a pop pass, a jet sweep, whatever it's going to be. I have interest in that because this is the time where, like, you have to dig deep into the bag to get yards. You have to find ways to get first downs and continue drives. You can't hold anything back in the most important game of the year. So whether it's deep targets to him, which I'm certainly a proponent of, or it's just getting the ball to him in some type of jet sweep when they line up legitimately 4 or 5 wide receivers and they have Jason in the backfield, I think that's a great idea.
I just think, look, you don't have to, Joe, he has as many games with no catches as he does with 2 or more.
He's got 15 receptions for Seattle this year. He's coming off a 44 reception year with New Orleans with basic garbage talent at the quarterback position. He averaged basically 12.5 yards per attempt. I'm just saying.
15 receptions to 7 rush attempts. I mean, and in the he has more carries than receptions in the postseason.
I know, but again, you're coming off a performance. He's an explosive playmaker. You want to get him out in space, and I understand utilizing him in the reverse and sweep game and fly sweeps. I get that. But he can be explosive as a number 2. Look, I'm not discounting Cooper Kupp's experience, especially in the playoffs and Super Bowl, but he's lost a step. The guy's washed up.
He's looked much better this postseason. I mean, he just had. What do you want me to say? He has.
Okay.
What? You know what? You're right. You want to bet Shaheed, so let me pretend Kupp's actually been bad. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You got it.
We are talking speed.
Shaheed. He's got 1 catch. You say this is your addiction of guys that don't get used.
He's out there running routes.
I know, so is Terrence Ferguson.
You make it sound like the guy is like not out there.
Yeah, and he has more rush attempts than receptions, and you're telling me that I'm barking up the wrong tree.
No, you asked my opinion.
And that's fine. But I'd like
you know what? You should play it.
Yeah, first of all, I will, okay?
Okay, alter it.
No. And I will.
15 plus.
No, listen. I will, and I'll put it in on your phone, but I'll tag it to a Henderson prop that won't come in. Don't worry.
It's nice. I noticed Tom likes Henderson too, but you're not saying anything.
He doesn't like Henderson.
He said he could use him.
Yeah, he said they could use him more. He didn't say he's going to just pretend that You know,
I'm
Houston,
taking Henderson.
You know,
I don't
Donovan
want you
Edwards
on
thing
it.
might have been the worst thing that ever happened to you.
Who?
Yeah.
What? Who?
Donovan Edwards coming in.
Why?
Because now you
Did he come in?
Yeah. And we're still waiting. Broken
still
clock.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
All right. You know what?
We're still waiting for you to call a knucklehead to have a good game. Yeah, go ahead. The pen's not even clicked. There you go. What's that say?
Chart. Chart says usage, straight up.
Yeah, right. Tom, tell me a little bit more about how much you like this Rashid Shaheed look for me.
I mean, I can get into that, or we get into other props. So you tell me.
So he doesn't want to even tell me. All right, so I'm up
I know,
against the
like
2-on-1
Shaheed.
handicap match. It's all
I
good.
said that I think he should be utilized in creative ways. That's just what it comes down to. That's a fact. So being utilized in creative ways is important in any game, but it's the most important in this game. And again, that also comes down to what I think the Pats are going to be doing on defense. You know, I don't know if Gonzalez is going to be shadowing JSN, but he's certainly going to see a lot of him. And it's not going to be one-on-one coverage. They're going to roll extra coverage to JSN. They're going to have an extra guy looking at Ken Walker if they have to stack the box, if Seattle gets the ball going early on the ground. And that will open up opportunity for Rashid Shaheed. It's not like they're not going to be worried about Cooper Kupp. They're not going to be not worried about A.J. Barner. So I think Shaheed does have an opportunity. Again, he's not going to have 15 total touches. He may only have 5. 1 or 2 of them could certainly come on the ground. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying I'm rushing to the window because I already have 2 other Shaheed props.
You mean the ones that we already hit? Okay, I didn't know if you also had 2 more.
No.
A lot of Shaheed numbers. You like Shaheed?
I agree. I think Shaheed has life in the passing game, not the rushing game.
So let's just then, because we're going to get other picks from Tom after this break. I want to cut scene. Joe Lisi's watching the Super Bowl, and Shaheed comes around on an end around.
I'm going to say get him.
Yep.
Crack him.
Get him. Miss that block.
Crack him. Hit him high, hit him low. Just don't hurt him.
And here's how every passing play for Seattle's going to look. Is that Shaheed? It's just JSN again. It's just JSN again. It's all right, though.
Well, why are we doing the show if you have the answers to the test already? You have all the answers.
No, see, what you do is you create a little space for me where I just have to talk about things that likely will happen while you are over here doing whatever you're doing, and I come off smelling like roses.
Guru.
I said it. No chance. You miss Evan Ingram so bad. We'll get bets from Tom next.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good. But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Pro football today, where we've brought Tom Vecchio in to basically chaperone Lisi and I yelling at each other. And I really hope the week is full of that. Tom, it is great to see you. I know you have more bets to go through here. We've talked Talani. We've talked Shaheed. What else we got?
Let's go with both teams to record an interception at plus 200. It's not about the quarterbacks. It's just both teams. So if we get a wacky play, end around Philly special, and someone happens to throw a non-quarterback.
You're banking on picking off a receiver?
Yeah, it could be anyone. So it's just both teams to record an interception at 2-1. I was looking at Drake May's interception odds at minus 138. Sam Darnold's at minus 128. I do believe Drake May is going to have to pass the ball. Therefore, he will be at a higher risk to throw an interception. But I think both teams in a spot to catch or record an interception at 2-1 is good. I also like Drake May over 19.5 completions. I'm not sure there's a world where the Pats are in a spot to win if Drake May falls below this. If you told me Drake May goes 17 of 28, 17 of 30, I think Seattle's winning this game by 10 points. I think the Pats are live to cover. I'm not going to say they're live to win. My kind of cop-out answer is Seattle wins, but they don't cover. But Drake May needs to go over 19.5 in order for the Pats to have a shot.
No, I think it's a good look. What do you think about the New England receivers in this? I'm curious to know. I want to know. Is it Booty? Is it Diggs? Or is it Hunter Henry? Or maybe a little Pop Douglas, Tom?
Well, I think Kevin knows where I'm going to go with this because, one of the bets that I really do like is Pats for the number of total players to catch a pass, over 6.5 different players on the Pats to catch a pass, and that's at minus 174. So to answer your question, Joe, it's not just Diggs. It's not just Booty. The way the Pats have operated all season is that Drake May is the rising tide that lifts all ships. So it's 20 yards here, 30 yards here, 40 here, 40 here. There's no JSN for the Pats. There's no one guy that's going to need to have 100 yards. It's everyone chipping in, doing just a little bit. And Drake May is that elevator of talent. So he can have 3 or 4 different receivers, a tight end and a running back, all have 30 or 40 yards. And all of a sudden, Drake May's at 200 yards. You didn't know because no one guy's dominating the box score. It's everyone doing their part.
No, I'm curious to see how they do attack it. I like Kyle Williams, if he's healthy, to score a touchdown.
Yeah, there we go. That's my boy. I know you. You know what I love?
Pop Douglas.
I like Tom giving out 2 picks.
Yeah.
And you being like, great look, so let's talk about something different.
They are a great look.
Are you? You know what? I'm not sure they are.
Well, okay.
I'm not sure I like that completions look.
Okay. So,
well,
you're just playing devil's advocate now.
Well, listen, someone has to.
Okay, so all right, there you go.
I don't know. 3 games this postseason, he hasn't completed 20 passes yet. They've won all 3. So Tom, does that not worry you?
It certainly worries me, but some of those games, specifically with the Chargers and the Texans, they were in control of those games. And they were essentially in control of the Denver game, where it's just like, you just don't make mistakes and we'll win the game. CJ Stroud has 1 million turnovers, and the Pats are just in control of that game. So they haven't had a game where they've needed to pass the ball. They've needed to come back. So I guess I'm expecting the Pats to play from behind at least a little bit.
So that's what I'm a little bit hung up on, where is you're saying like he needs to throw the ball 20 times to win, but I feel like the design of the bet more so is you don't think they're going to win, therefore he'll need to be throwing the football.
I think it's both. I think both things can be true. It's not one or the other. I think there's parts of both where
you think he can get there regardless of script.
I'm not sure how much success the Pats are going to have on the ground. I really am hesitant to say that they're going to have a lot of success running the ball. They're going to try, but I just don't know if they're going to be overly successful. Therefore, if they're not moving the ball on the ground, he's going to have to pass it, and the potential that Seattle actually scores points. So then they have to pass it because they can't move the ball on the ground.
With the interception bet, Tom, it's like some books don't offer the ability to parlay interceptions. I don't know if, and maybe none do. Did you look into that and find any type of noticeable gap?
So you can't do that. Like you can't parlay May and Darnold both to throw an interception, but getting both teams to record at 2-1, you're not getting an extremely fair price. It should be around 225 or 240, but you give me 2-1 on something that I do like, I'll take it. The odds are close enough.
Do you find that you'd rather play a 2-1 plus price than zeroing in on the quarterback that you actually like to throw the interception?
I may also add May at minus 138 to throw an interception. I do think that's the more likely of the two. I'm halfway there on it because I essentially think it's going to happen, but I do like the plus 200.
I wonder, so I know like often a lot of times it's like, hey, I got 2+ bets. If I split it, cool, right? I know this isn't that exact theory where splitting does you no good, but it's also, I mean, it's better than a full loss. But so I think that's a fun game theory talk out, and I think we will do that more as the week goes on. I'm sure we'll talk to our guy Tom again. Tom, always a pleasure. Best of luck heading into the Super Bowl, man.
Of course, same to you guys.
Great stuff there from Tom Vecchio. We are going to get back to talk a little bit more about the side in Super Bowl 60. Of course, it is the Pats, it is the Seahawks, and it's next on SportsGrid. I know. So I don't think we should hold back everything.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to just put this on the board right now.
Go ahead, put it on the board.
I've bet the Patriots. I bet them on open when the game was set at +5.
It's a good look.
It
is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
I do.
Really?
It's a good look.
Yes. Look at the Seattle, right? You're ringing in your ears.
Yeah.
I like the New England Patriots in this game. I bet the +5 on open. I pretty much had a feeling as I was watching the AFC Championship game, just the way it played out, that if Denver was able to escape in that game, they were going to get a little too much love. People are going to be too interested in Sean Payton. Hey, you never know with a dog, with Stidham, backup quarterback, and I was going to end up on the NFC side. And if New England made it through, people are going to be too low on the Patriots, who are a very good team, did have a very easy schedule, and that's pretty much what happened. I was hoping to get over 3 in this game. It is something that I am self-aware of, that I care if something is 3.5 or 4, 4.5 or 5. And this being at 5, I wanted to get before the number worked backwards, because it was starting to work backwards in a couple spots, and we're now pretty much seeing 4.5. Now, I will say, if you're watching this, you're like, hey, do you still like it at 4.5? Of course. Honestly, at 4 or better, I am very, very happy to bet New England. I would still like them at 3.5. I mean, quite frankly, I would like them at 3. I think they're very, very live to win this game. It's just, you should not be betting the Patriots at this point at +3 if that would ever come available, just because you've missed out on the number far too much. And that's just a simple, just follow the numbers and getting, in at the appropriate time. But I think we have value on New England because of what they didn't do being highlighted far more than what they did do. What they did not do was look great offensively, but they did look very good defensively. And while the Chargers, Texans, and Jarrett Stidham-led Denver Broncos offer up not a ton of resistance, it doesn't mean that this defense doesn't get credit for playing great in those games. It's similar to how the offense played in the regular season. The Patriots played bad teams. They abused them. Yes, the Chargers' offense came up with a bad offensive line. Scored 3 points. Yes, C.J. Stroud looked turnover prone. They picked him off 4 times. They made him pay. They forced another fumble in that game. Yes, Jarrett Stidham was going to struggle to move the ball. Held in the 7. They got a pivotal turnover plus an interception, but, the fumble recovery, their defense did everything and then some that you would expect them to do against those teams. So the question becomes, do you think that this New England offense can step up and, carry their weight at all in this matchup? And I believe the answer to that is yes. They grade out as the best offense per EPA in football this season. And it's because I think Drake May is deserving of league MVP. I don't think you just fall backwards into leading the league in passer rating, QBR, yards per attempt, and completion percentage. And while I don't think May has, shown himself super favorably in these games, I thought the late touchdown to Hunter Henry against the Chargers was impressive. I think throwing 3 touchdowns against the Texans defense has been undersold. I think what he put on display running the football, 65 yards and a score against the Broncos, has been under-discussed in the grand scheme. I do. And I think Drake May is better than Sam Darnold. So I have the better quarterback in the game. I think these are close football teams. I think this could be a close game. We've seen that in the Super Bowl. I think, over the last 5, Joe, 3 or 4 of them, 3 of them maybe have landed 3 points, exactly. Could this be 24-21, 27-24? Yeah, it could. I also think New England could win because while the Seattle Seahawks have obviously had a very impressive season, I think their defense does have a little bit of give to it when playing the top 1% of offenses in this league. I think Sam Darnold has turnover questions, considering he led the NFL in turnovers. I think their rush attack, with no potential second punch without Charbonnet, a rush attack that graded out very, very poorly efficiency-wise, may not be the most reliable in this game. So I like New England. I really, really like New England. They're my side. I kind of knew they would be really once they got through the Broncos and just how that was being discussed. And it's not going to change, Joe, no, really, unless they tell me that the Drake May injuries are far more concerning than I think we actually believe they are.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the Super Bowl. Both teams are deserving of being there, whether you believe it was a soft schedule or not for New England. You bring up, admirable points for that. I struggle from the side right now with the number.
Okay.
Because that's a high number, to your point.
Yeah.
Right? We saw 3.5. Now, even 3.5, if you just break it down, the book had no problem. Multiple books, obviously, we know they all work in unison for the most part, establishing, the line. You're not going to see a 3.5 and then a 7, right? You're going to see 3.5, 4, right? All a half a point or less. It was still over a key number of 3 and the hook. To me, that's a Seattle line when I see that. So, again, when you just look at that. Now, do I believe New England could win the game? Absolutely. Do I have confidence that they're going to break tendency and try and do something that they haven't done up until this point from an offensive philosophy and identity perspective and feel confident in that? No, but I still believe that that's the route to win the game. But from the side perspective, I do like Seattle. I just think, again, they're built. I believe Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Drake May right now. I think he's a veteran. I'm willing to back him in this situation more than Drake May. It's not a knock on May. It's just that, again, he's been a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
I still feel very confident on the total. That is my best bet in the game. But the side perspective, I do like Seattle. Again, I just think Seattle, to me, defensively is more physical.
Yeah.
And I do like the offensive balance more with Seattle than I do with New England. And again, I'm not knocking New England, but I have to look at this game objectively and say, okay, which team do I believe can run the football better? Kenneth Walker and Seattle's offensive line. Which quarterback do I believe can get to 300? I do believe it's Sam Darnold.
Really?
I do. And I think New England's just, look, as bad as C.J. Stroud was in that game,
Okay.
he still made some throws that were
Yeah, I don't think.
and that was with, honestly, pedestrian wide receivers.
I understand.
I mean, Nico
Yeah.
Collins was out for a majority of that game. It was Hutchinson and Higgins and Knoll. JSN is just at a different level.
Yeah.
And if they do implement a little Shaheed with the speed and you get Cooper Kupp and then Barner, I just feel more confident in Seattle dictating the tempo. But again, I still like the over sidewise as long as we don't see 5.5s or 5s. I'm willing to lay it with Seattle.
What I'm interested in is, I guess, for me at least, right? If you like the total, which you feel stronger about, and I know it's, listen, hey, it's a Super Bowl. We're going to tell you if we lean one way or the other. I understand that, right? And this is where I think I do have to just accept. I see the Patriots specifically in this game differently. Like, I'd be very surprised if they weren't in the 20s.
Who? New England? Then the total's flying through.
I don't see Seattle in the 30s.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't. Like, I expect a close football game. I think
You see more 24-19 or something crazy like that.
it's just more so. This is a team who, yes, had a couple of monster offensive performances. Seattle, I'm not saying that they didn't, but they didn't string together 30, 30, 30. And you're asking Darnold off for the game of his life to do it again? That's heavy to me. We'll talk a little bit more about it next right here, Pro Football Today.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 a.m. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now at 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like, he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're talking Seahawks-Patriots. Obviously, we're going to be talking it all week.
All
long.
week. So juicy.
So, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I know it's gonna.
I have my props listed.
Good. No, that's
Kyle Williams.
Yep.
11-1 anytime. Travion Henderson 30, 40, 50. I got Barner there.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for a number on Williams. That's just the appetizers.
Okay. So and I'll try and piece some stuff together. So Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe that's what a lot of this will boil down to. Again, and he proves me wrong again. Okay, fine. Sam Darnold is coming off of the best game of his life.
346. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Do you think it's unfair that I think expecting Sam Darnold to go for 303 again I think that's nuts.
No, I mean, it's fine. It's understandable. I get it, but you can't say, all right, so maybe not 300, but would it shock you if he goes for 265 and 2 touchdowns? I'm just saying, if he throws for 2 touchdowns, Kenneth Walker runs into, it's 28
You know what
points.
would surprise me?
Yeah.
If he throws the ball 30 times again and doesn't get picked off.
All right, that's possible. I mean, it's a Super Bowl. We see crazy things happen.
Right.
I mean, bounces off a helmet, a batted ball. I mean, anything could happen with the interception. At the end of the half, he throws a Hail Mary. And, I'm just saying, like, that's not going to shock me in any way. What I look at, though, is, again, I keep going back to this, is like, look, love him or hate him, I feel more confident in Sam Darnold playing with a deficit than I do Drake May right here, right now. And you keep saying that, but it's the truth.
I guess all right, so what would be fair is Drake hasn't played a lot of football with a deficit, but Darnold hasn't really either.
What I mean by that, hang on. Let me make it clearer for you. The Patriots have been able to dictate the tempo against inferior competition.
Okay.
Okay? The best defense they faced, I believe, in the playoffs was last week.
Okay.
All right? But they were also at a hindrance because Stidham hits the 54-yard bomb to Mims. They score. They fail to go for 2. The momentum switches. And then all of a sudden, Sean Payton, Mr. Roll the Dice, gets complacent with his backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. And really, so the game flow for that game is, I agree with you. I think New England's like, hey, you're not challenging us since that big play. We're content just running Ramondre in the ground.
Yeah.
They're not going to, I do not believe that that's going to play out that way in this match.
Okay.
They're going to, if they're going to dictate the tempo, which now they have done in 3, basically, they still were able to dictate the tempo from the second quarter on, right? They're playing bully ball. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be able to do that the style they've done the last 3 games. And that's my point. If they want to get the lead, if they want to take the game to Seattle, you have to break tendency. They go back to the tape. They rarely throw on first down. It's Ramondre or whoever's back there, run the football, 2nd and 6. Now, if they try to do that, they're going to be in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 11, and then advantage, Seattle. And I just told you there are 3 games with the 3rd down offensive efficiency. It was like, 3 of 14, 4 of 18. I mean, that's under 30% 3rd down conversion rate.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you could stay ahead of the sticks is if you're throwing the football early on. So that's why I like the over. Again, it's going outside the box. I understand, yes, can they be more physical? It's possible. But 28 teams tried to run the football on Seattle, and they haven't broken 100 yards yet. So if we're looking statistically, right, can this game be the outlier? Yeah, it's possible, but more likely it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess. It's so interesting. New England doing the things that you don't like, of just like, run it, who cares, we'll be fine, kick a field goal, whatever. I really believe was a product of the environment. Looking at their opponent.
So then you agree that this is potentially going to be high scoring.
So
go ahead.
What I realize is that if I bet how I maybe normally used to, I would just say, hey guys, Pat's team total, best bet. I feel good about the sides. That's what I like to bet. You know what I mean? But I expect New England to score 20.
Okay, if that's the case.
24.
Well, then I think this is a 50-plus game.
I don't have the same confidence that
See,
you do
now
in
to your
Seattle.
point, Sam Darnold might throw 2 interceptions.
But those are good for you.
Yeah, because I still think he could come back with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, yes, I lean to Seattle with the side. Okay, I think that's a Seattle line. I think they're begging you to take the 4.5 or even 3.5 over a key number in a Super Bowl. I just think they're begging you to do that.
But people are more so laying it with Seattle. Seattle is going to be the public side. That's what's going to happen.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I mean, that's fine. But
Take the information for what it's worth. I know what's out there. And again, we'll see where this line goes. I'll just say this. If you see 3.5s,
yeah,
Seattle ain't the public side. I'm just sorry. It would be a divergence. Seattle's the public side. Line's going down. Something's not adding up, right? Technically?
yeah, I mean, that's a whole.
I'm just saying.
We see that, though. I mean,
Yeah,
that is what we
because
see.
either one, the information's wrong.
But I don't think, again, I don't think we're going to see 3.5 at all.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
I think Seattle is where people want to be. I think people think they're better. I think they think New England are frauds. And I think that's the way it's going to play out.
Okay.
For how the bettors approach this game. And I don't know. I think having full trust in this Seahawks offense is a mistake. That's what I
Who's the best player on the field? Both offenses.
I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I guess. Drake May is going to finish second in MVP, though, so I don't think he's far behind.
Okay.
He's going to finish second in MVP.
He's going to have to make plays with his arms then.
Yeah, I agree.
The 60 or 50 yards on the ground, they could have cut it.
But I just like the combination as well, though, of also like Josh McDaniels being here is a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I'm not, again, veteran experience on the staff. But again, yes. But those Belichick teams were also chameleons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Show something one way, do it in the big spot, break tendency.
Yep. I think they will throw the ball.
But then with the overs, then you should be on it with because I think they have to.
But again, I guess what I'm prepared for, I'm not saying is likely, but I'm prepared to be watching the game, final score 27-17 New England, and it's, we'll talk more Pro Football today. Let's make it happen.
You got to get on a bus. Then you got to get to the hotel, all right? You got to check into your room. You got to go through all this crap. It's like, yeah, it's done for you, but it's still not like you're still sitting there. You're still in traffic. Yeah, you're still like, it's still 2 in the morning. You still want to be in bed, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm on some highway in Calgary right now at 3:30 in the morning, and we're playing against the Canucks tomorrow, right? Like, it's not as smooth as people always think.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
If there's more revenue for the league, there's more revenue for the players, and that would make it saleable. So they may have objections. Certainly there's more risk of injury the longer the season goes. But, these guys, their careers are short. The money is good. Money would be better. So I wouldn't bet against the league expanding sooner rather than later.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
His wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo, I can tell you that. I live there.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Marshall's a tough environment, though. Marshall's that sneaky road trip, in my opinion, and this has been like a decade long that Marshall's been fire at home and terrible on the road. That's a dangerous road game, but if you look at, there's no return game with Kent State. There's no return game with Akron. Maybe when they go to UMass with Frank Martin being such a good coach, he could really take teams out of their rhythm. But I think there's a case that they could be undefeated in the regular season.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Pro Football today. Kevin Walsh. See, going to be a fun week here on SportsGrid, Super Bowl coverage, Super Bowl 60 out in San Francisco. We appreciate Jake Aspen stopping by, talking a little bit about the game, his perspective, as well as Tom Vecchio getting a couple of picks from him. Joe, I actually wanted to pull back. We've talked, you and I, a little bit about Darnold. The perspective that Jake offered up, the Jets fans that all root for Darnold and everything, and do you, has Darnold fully entered into that different conversation?
Yes.
Like, he's a different guy. We don't have to wonder, hey, can you win with him? Like, it's just a whole different elephant now?
Well, I mean, I think he erased everything with the back-to-back games, and I know he didn't do much against San Francisco, but he still engineered and managed that win, and he backs it up with his best performance against the L.A. Rams. And then you couple that with the second-half performance against L.A. when they trail by double digits. He put his team in a position into overtime and then steals it, with the 2-point conversion. I just think he's at that level now where he is going to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks. I honestly believe that. I mean, look, if he comes out and throws 4 interceptions, it would be terrible. But again, the regular season, Kev, he's engineered back-to-back 14 in 3 years. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, with 2 different teams.
But that's where it's so tricky, right? Because it's with 2 different teams, 2 different setups, and it's like, how much of the credit can we give to everyone else, right?
Yeah,
McConnell won Coach of the Year.
Or JSN, Kubiak, right?
Justin Jefferson. It's like, how much of that credit can we keep giving other people? Like, so I do believe he has completely changed the conversation. I also think that this game is going to go a long way, though.
So, all right. So, if he goes out and throws 275, 2 or 3 touchdowns, no picks, they win it handily or cover.
Yeah.
You're set for next year?
Yeah, I think
put it this way. He's earned more. He's earned more from the record and just winning in the playoffs than Josh Allen up until this point, no?
So I actually would say no.
Okay.
People can not like that. I don't, because I think that Josh Allen has had a lot of great playoff, really, really good playoff performances under his belt. I understand Darnold's made a Super Bowl. I can tell you firsthand that making a Super Bowl, even winning a Super Bowl, doesn't just get to put you in front of Jalen Hurts or in front of Josh Allen through the lens of Jalen Hurts. I've seen that. What I will tell you is this. If Darnold is awful, I'm not going to be like, told you, bottom 10 quarterback in the league. But I'm also not, I think there is a level of year in, year out, and in an interesting way, the changing of situations, right? That lack of consistency works in Darnold's favor, but it's going to keep making us wonder. What I mean is, everyone agrees Kevin O'Connell really good at calling plays. I think mostly we agree Clint Kubiak really good at calling plays. So now we got to go through another guy. Is this guy good, right? So, but I think all of that aside, I think that's all for next year, right? That's all for, like, the fact that, the look-ahead Super Bowl odds have Seattle as the favorite. I think that's silly.
But short term, if he wins a Super Bowl, he's now erased any there's no and performs at an elite level.
So that's where I'm in a weird spot. I actually think he already has. I think he already is now the franchise quarterback in Seattle. Everyone would have him as a top 14 quarterback. I think a lot of people will have him as a top 10 quarterback. And I think it's regardless of what happens in the game.
Okay.
But I think everyone needs to look honestly and say, hey, do you trust Sam Darnold in this spot? And I don't think that's just for us as the bettors. This is one of the most interesting things, and I think we'll get into this quite a bit tomorrow, is what does Seattle believe their approach to Darnold should be in the game? Seattle, not New England. They spent 6 weeks being like, hey, listen, buddy, you will not lose us games anymore. You will play it close to the vest. This defense, JSN, the run game, we're going to figure it out. And then they zagged. They did everything you've ever wanted a team to do in the NFC Championship game.
They took the governor off.
Break tendency, governor off, bing, bang, boom, 31, no problem. They could have kept scoring more. Do they go into the Super Bowl going, okay?
You can't go into
Pull
the.
it
No,
back?
you can't. You cannot do that.
Or do you let the horse
you
run?
You let that horse run like Secretariat, baby. you get out eight lengths. Seabiscuit, I think. Was it Secretariat? Seabiscuit. Come on, Red.
That. I worry about, hey, don't.
You're terrible for an over. You're telling me that New England's going to score 24, but you don't like the total.
Sure. What if it's 24-21?
50 plus. 50
24-21.
50 plus.
It happens.
50 plus.
Oh, you got it. 75.5. Why did they stop there? Pro Football Today. It's going to be a heck of a week here on SportsGrid.